How a reverse mortgage improves your retirement success. How dare you, Josh? How dare you? Reverse mortgages are straight from the devil. Don't you know? They're evil. They're evil. Just like my AR-15 is evil. It just sits there. It's just plotting. How can I get my 223 rounds down range? How can I do this? They're evil. And look, even Finney up there is barking because I mentioned the term reverse mortgage. And Finney's like, how dare you? All right, so if you're look, man, I get it. If you're 100% anti-reverse mortgage, this isn't the channel for you. It's not the video for you, so whatever. And you can sit there and spite me all day long. It's fine. I literally don't care. My goal in this whole channel is to get normal people to say, I wonder if there's a way I can retire to improve my my sense of being, to go serve the Lord a better way, to improve my health, to improve my relationship with my wife, my husband, my kids, my grandkids, to just improve my sense of well-being. That's what we're trying to do here. Because I know look, I've been doing this since 1998. There are many amigos and amigas out there who are in a world of hurt health-wise because they're in a crappy old job. And if that's not you, that's okay. But if that is you and you're like, oh man, there's a reprieve. And it's called, hey, just find some crunchy numbers. And part two of that, if you're like, look how you can incorporate the other tools out there. Annuities, reverse mortgages. How dare we? Annuities are evil. It's so freaking stupid. I don't understand why people say a tool is evil. A tool is inherently, it's amoral. It has no value other than how you use it. It's so dumb, man. And people really get wrapped up. So here we got old Diane Sample right here. And Diane Sample, I'm just going to show you here. So this is what I'm working on, my reverse RMD book. And I'm just going to show you some of the stuff. I guess I'll spill the beans before I get to it. But anyway, so we're old Diane here. And we're going to show you what's going on here. So Miss Diane, we're going to take, she's got no income. She's 60 years old. She's going to live until she's 90. She's pulling 7.5% from her initial portfolio. Her initial portfolio is 500,000 schmackaroonies. That initial portfolio is invested in a 60-40 mix, basically 5.9% expected rate of return with a 10.2% standard deviation. All right. So she's basically, what she's going to do here is I'm going to show you. She's going to take 7.5% from her first year for the next 10 years. All right. But I got, what do I got here? I got 8% initially the first year. So we're going to take 8% a year, and then we're going to reduce that by 2% each and every year. And then when she hits 70 years old, she'll take the equivalent of 4% a year in this year. So she's taking 8%, reducing it by 20 basis points each and every year until she's 80, essentially after 10 years. And then she's going to take the equivalent of what is now considered the 4% rule. But instead of adjusting that upwards with a 3% roughly inflation, she's going to adjust it upwards with a 1% inflation instead. And even that is suspect because we don't have a whole lot of evidence for even that. But it doesn't matter. You'll see what I'm talking about. And when we go to retirement, we're going to see if she runs that number, she's only got a 50% probability of success. And she only leaves $33 of liquid net worth. Liquid net worth. All right, so you can see your confidence. Actually, let me just go back here. Probability, we're just going to change this to 40,000. Boink, 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 boink. Boink, 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 boink. Stove first. Stovetop stuffing. Stofers, there we go. All right, so you can see right here. So she's got at 8% for the first 10 years. Again, I'm not going to re-explain what happened. She's lived till she's 90, her current portfolio, the whole thing. 50% of the time she, quote, ran out of money. You can see right there. Well, I guess 49.9% of the time she, quote, ran out of money. 50.1% of the time she had money. About $33 was her median liquid net worth, all right? And you can see it right there. So not too shabby. She doesn't really hit right about there. At 82 years old is when she's 25% of the time she has no money. 25% of the time she still has $245,000. All right. So we're saying, she's like, I don't know, Josh. That seems pretty suspect to me. That doesn't make me all that happy. And I'm like, well, let's take a look at your, I want to go here, profile. Excuse me, retirement. Let's take a look at what your net worth is at this stage. So she has a $220,000 home and is inflating at 3% a year. By the time she's 80, it'll be at $385,000. All right, so at 80 years old, it'll be $385,000. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up to my man Wade Fowles retirementresearcher.com. We're going to put her appraised value when she's 80 at $385,000. We're going to finance all the closing costs, about $15,000 be closing costs. Oh, the $15,000 is good. I'm going to get a home equity line of credit for only $50. Oh, my people, my people. Home equity line of credit is you got to pay the debt back. You got to pay it back. Line of reverse mortgage line of credit, you don't pay it back. It's paid back upon your death or the sale of your home, but it's not paid back while you're alive. We're trying to reduce our outflows. Right? And by the way, home equity line of credit is variable, so you don't know exactly. I mean, we just don't know. Reverse mortgage line of credit, we know we can make it fixed. There's a million different ways we can do this. If you want to do a home equity line of credit, be my guest, man. Be my guest. I don't like that scenario because it is a debt you got to pay back while you're living. If you want to do a reverse mortgage, it is a debt, but you don't have to pay it back until you're dead or until you sell the house. Anyway, so we're going to do reverse mortgage here. Oh, look at the closing costs. I always say, how much did a refinance your house cost you? It's kind of weird because when I was looking at refinancing, it was going to cost me like $20,000. I said, yeah, no, thank you. Anyway, be that as it may, so we're going to use about, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So right here, my man Wade says, even with these numbers thrown in, we can get about $13.89 a month as a monthly income. And that's a 10-year payment for the rest of our lives, essentially, right here. A 10-year payment as long as you're eligible for the loan, which means you stay in the house or you sell it. All right, so we're going to get $13.89 a month. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to Right Capital. We're going to go to Profile. We're going to go to Income. We're going to model a reverse mortgage, Diane's reverse mortgage. We're going to say $13.89 a month, and that was the equivalent of $16,668 a year. Right there, a year. We're going to do closing costs just of $15,000, and we're going to finance that into the loan right there. And our interest rate is 6.89. So the amount that we're being charged to borrow the bank's money is 6.89% a year. All right. So it's not free, it's not cheap because it's going to cost us $15,000 initially closing costs plus almost 7% a year. And we're going to and we're going to put an annual fee of $100 on there. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, I don't know. And we're going to run this until Diane dies, and we're going to assume she dies at the age of 90. All right, so now we got that. So now let's go over here to retirement. I'm going to show you the cash flows. And now she's at right here. Now she's at a 68% probability of success. So let's just go to cash flows here. And we're going to show you a summary. And so you can see her goals are $40,000 initially, then minus 2%, right there, minus 2%, minus 2%. So by the time she is 10 years or up, right, it went from $33,000 to $25,000, which again is the equivalent of 4% a year in today's dollars. And then we're inflating that $25,000 by 1% a year. I hope that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but be that as it may. So you can see right here, by the time she's in this regard, we're going to go to retirement right there, analysis. By the time she's 80 years old, we'll go to confidence right there. You can see she's like, oh man, I only got $20,000, $25,000 left 25% of the time. 5% of the time I got no money. My median is only 121. That makes me a little bit nervous. So then we say, okay, this is when the reverse mortgage kicks in. You can see it's going to start dropping, stop dropping like that. It'll still drop, but it'll level off where it's not dropping nearly as much. And so by the time she hits 90 years old, right, hold on a second, right there, 90 years old, she still has a median liquid net worth of $94,000. Right, and so essentially what that did is improved her retirement excess to 68% from it was 50% before, and improved her liquid net worth by almost $95,000. Oh, by the way, she still has a net worth. By the way, if we go to her net worth, again, only have her house growing at 3%, and the debt is growing by almost 2.5 times that. You can see right here, her 385. That's what her house is worth. 397, 409. Now her debt is starting to kick in. So by the time she dies, she still has what's that? 100. I think that's like $200,000 of equity in there. It's something like that. 240,000. She still has $240,000 of equity. 518 minus 280,000 is $200,000 of equity plus a median net worth, liquid net worth of right here. 94,000. So she still has over $300,000 of net worth, liquid and fixed net worth, or if you want to say real net worth. All right. Now, if we drop this down to 37.5, which is a 7.5% distribution as opposed to 8%, you can see right here It'll go to 78, I think, 73, and she has a higher liquid net worth. So it went from 50 to 73%. And again, look, if Diane is single and she's like, and she wants to bounce her last check, die with zero, that's pretty good if you ask me. That's absolutely pretty good. Now, again, I'm only using I'm going to show you a rate of return. I'm only giving her like a 5.4, a 5.9% rate of return with a 10% standard deviation. So quite a bit, we have a 24% potential downside risk, which is what is reflected in this right here. These 25% on the light blue downside risk. Anyway, so that's how reverse mortgage can help your probability of retirement. It's just a fact. It's just a fact, dude. And we're using $15,000 closing costs, 6.89% as a fixed interest rate, and we're using a 10-year payment of a 10-year. Not a 10-year, a tenure. Like, I'm a tenured professor, a Marxist tenured professor. I can do whatever I want. I can burn people down. I can do all this because I'm tenured. You can't fire me. And that's, it's all tax-free, by the way, too. Watch what happens here. Cash flows, you'll see no taxes at all. Summary, look at that. No taxes, none. But Dave Ramsey, no. Love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.